Hi everyone, it's V here from Mingle Co podcast. Today I have a special guest. Her name is Niki Bonfield. Hello Niki, how are you?
Hi V, I'm good, thank you. I'm feeling a bit nervous, but I'm okay.
Yeah, that's fine to be nervous. So I'm going to ask you a few questions. So the podcast is to really talk about everyone's journey and their story and about sometimes how we come to find out that we're neurodivergent and to celebrate neurodivergent people or the community.
Yeah.
So we met at one of the neurodivergent women in business events, right?
Yeah, we did.
You came with Sarah, one of our other guests. We haven't had her as a guest here on the podcast.
Yes, I came with Sarah.
Yeah. What was your experience like?
I really enjoyed it. I felt immediately like it was a very accepting space. It was great because there was just really like-minded people. I didn't feel like anything was off the cards, as in being myself, having my fidgets.
Yeah.
It was just a very welcoming space, I think, and also very like the information that was kind of given was really helpful and useful as well.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a counsellor, an art therapist. Now I guess I'm now an author. I just published my first book, so I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah, congratulations.
And very nervous about that too, because it feels very exposing. But it's been a really nice journey. I think I found my passion in life is to, sort of let neurodivergent people feel welcomed in a space. So that's my whole thing.
Yeah.
Being a counsellor, to have that space for them to feel like they can unpack their identity and just truly be who they are. So I guess that's sort of a bit of a motivation behind my book as well. Yeah.
So how would you describe your neurodivergence and when did you first become aware of it?
I guess I would describe it as a positive on some days and some days a challenge, because there's so many great things about neurodivergent people. We're very creative people. We've got so much to offer the world. We do things really well, but there's also that element of having to try and survive in a world that's not kind of made for us to fit. So it's challenging in itself to educate other people, to help other people understand what it's like living inside our heads. Yeah.
Were you a late diagnosed?
I was a late diagnosed, so I got diagnosed nearly 3 years ago. Now,
so was it like your
2.5 years ago? Yeah.
Was it how did you come to that? Was it like your kids were diagnosed first and then you saw similarities, or was it just?
We've sort of always suspected our son was autistic, but it was more so, I think, when I went to study. I always felt like I never fit in anywhere.
Yeah.
I never could understand social cues. I could never understand, why people were given some sort of rule book and I was not given the rule book, and I was just trying to blindly find my way through life. But it really was heightened when I went and did my counselling course when I started, because I realised that communication didn't come easy for me. The auditory processing disorder that I have was really, really stood out in group work, and I guess I couldn't be hidden anymore.
Yeah.
I had to learn that eye contact was a necessity in the job. Well, that was what it was portrayed as.
Yeah.
And being able to do a lot of things that don't come natural for me.
Yeah.
So I guess I was just presented with that daily, and I just went, this is really hard, and I got really exhausted and overwhelmed. I wasn't surviving.
Yeah. And that's where you sought help?
Yeah, well, I went, I had therapy, and that turned into a pretty big disaster. This is the story that's written in my book.
Okay.
We just clashed. I didn't feel understood or heard. I couldn't understand why my communication was so wrong. And I guess also attachment things, and like a lot was coming up in that. And then basically got told by somebody that you're probably autistic. And then of course I went to my stubbornness of no, I'm going to prove that person wrong. Went and got the assessment and found out, well, no, actually you are. So yeah.
Did you grieve that? Did you grieve that process?
I did. Yeah, I did grieve it, because it was like the lost time that you could have been supported all of those years of not feeling like you fit in. You were just not with the right people. You didn't understand what you needed to be, or how you needed to accept yourself. But there was also that whole, I think I would strive to be the so-called normal my whole life. That all of a sudden it felt like that was taken away from me. You're never going to reach that point now. You're never going to have that. You're never going to be capable of being normal, because now you're not normal. And I think that I very much fell into the whole thinking about what the stereotypical autistic person is supposed to be presenting like, and I didn't fit that either. So it was a learning journey for me. Yeah.
And then you're obviously now at the stage where you've celebrated it, like you celebrate yourself, or you're like, this is me, this is who I am.
Yeah, definitely. I allow myself those accommodations. I mean, I'm not embarrassed to sit there with a fidget or, tell somebody I can't actually go to that social event, because I feel like that's going to be overwhelming for me. I think it was just embracing, thinking that I'm worthy enough to be able to do that. Like I matter as well. And my voice matters. So
that's awesome. I love how now, you don't have to people please anymore. And that's so empowering to be like, well, that doesn't suit me. I don't need to go and put a mask on or pretend that I fit in there when, I love that we can do that now. Or if people are at that stage where they're like, I have to just think of me right now.
Yeah.
With writing an autobiography, can be really personal. What was the emotional journey for you?
Well, I think it was personal in the sense that at first it wasn't, because after I'd left that therapist, I had no words. I didn't have the ability to communicate effectively, because I was just really burnt out. I was just, my executive functioning was at an all-time low, and I think I used it to be able to have a voice in that. And I never intended to show anyone that, but then I did end up showing my therapist, and that was, I remember the emotional thoughts on that was like terrifying, of like, I've just put my life out there and showing somebody, and while it had to be confidential because it was my therapist, I think that was kind of like a first step, but then it sat there for a long time, because I did consider putting it under a pen name. I considered a lot of things, and then I thought, but then I'm about authenticity. That doesn't feel right either. So there were a lot of back and forwards. Should I publish it? Should I not? How am I gonna look or be portrayed to the world? But I also had to come home to myself and say, well, you're going to be portrayed in many different ways by many different people, and you just have to be happy with who you are. So it has been emotionally draining and kind of exposing, I think.
Because you're having a book launch soon.
Yes. Yeah.
So how are you feeling right now about your book launch?
I'm kind of excited, actually.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah, I think I've been nervous. I've been a bit unsure about it, because there were a lot of there are some family members. There are a lot of people that, there is stuff in there that they don't know about me. So that's kind of going to be out in the open. But that also feels freeing to me.
That's great. I've got another question. Were there any parts of your story that were, while you were writing it, that were quite healing?
I think a lot of the childhood stuff was quite healing, and also the disastrous therapy experience. It's like I needed to be heard, because in that I wasn't really heard. So that felt like a way to express it properly. Yeah, and also I I think in healing, in giving other people opportunity to kind of relate or feel less alone in the world, that feels healing to me as well. Yeah.
Did you write with a neurodivergent audience in mind, or neurotypical, or both?
Both.
Yeah.
I think both. One, because I want neurodivergent people to feel less alone. Like, their stories matter as well, and they can relate to a lot of the stuff. But also neurotypical people, because it might create a bit of an understanding of that internal sort of world that they can't see, they don't know what another person is experiencing. Just both of them.
Both.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Both.
Are there any stereotypes or misconceptions about neurodivergence that you wanted to challenge in your book?
I guess that, a lot of the trauma that people experience comes from being neurodivergent. It's from having to mask, having to suppress, and how, the unkindness in the world can really lead to that burnout and that feeling, less than in the world. So I think, and a lot of ableism as well, because to me, I get told all the time, I would never pick that in you. I've never picked that you're autistic. It raises that question of how am I supposed to look being autistic?
Yeah.
Like, why is there a set way that you have to look? A lot of the stuff's very internalized. You can't see that I'm struggling with sensory things, or you can't see that I'm struggling with like noise or communication, because I'm masking very well. But it's definitely the ableism, I think.
What was your writing process like? Was it intuitive? Was it, or how was that process for you?
It was a bit intuitive. It was definitely not structured.
Okay.
I sort of just kept writing. I sort of started at the start of my earliest kind of memories, and then I just kept writing. It was quite messy. It was quite. It definitely wasn't edited in any sort of way. It wasn't really in any sort of structure. It was hard because it had to be kind of pieced together at the end. Because at first I hadn't intended to publish it, so I wasn't thinking about how I should write it. And then a lot of stuff had to be taken out because a lot of it I didn't feel comfortable putting out to the world. So,
Awesome. Did you encounter any specific challenges while writing due to your neurodivergence?
I get quite hyper-focused.
Yeah.
I found that because I was studying at the time, that study kind of got left behind.
Yeah.
Because I was very hyper-focused. I need to get this out. I've started something, I need to finish it. So that was definitely, that's always a thing with me. When I start something, I get very hyper-focused on it.
How long did it take you to write it, out of curiosity?
I'd like to say round about 3 months, a few months maybe. It wasn't very long at all. Actually, it might not have even been that long because I did kind of just start and keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have any support, editors or mentors while you were writing the final version of the book?
I did get it edited, but it was mainly grammar and spelling and stuff, and just a lot of it's kind of just been all mine. I did, like, the publishing company helped me through many questions.
Yeah.
That was helpful.
What sort of questions did they ask? Was it because they didn't understand what you were saying or expressing, or what?
No, I think I meant more so like my questions to them. They helped me, by answering all my questions and things through the publishing process.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give to other neurodivergent individuals that are thinking of writing their own story or telling their story in any way?
Yeah, okay. I think I would tell them to kind of lean into that fear, because it's very valid, because it's very exposing, but it's also, it's like a ripple effect, I guess. You can give your voice and it can help 100 other people. But also not going into it thinking that it's all going to be rosy, and because it is very personal. It's very personal, and you can feel very vulnerable, but it's also very freeing. And it's also very healing for yourself to write it out, because sometimes when you see it on paper, you can look at it and go, oh wow, I did actually go through quite a few things. Like, that has been pretty tough, and you can sort of accept that and be a bit kinder, I think, to yourself, that that it has been hard. Yeah.
What I didn't actually ask you, what is the name of the book?
The book's called Fragmented Yet Whole, Embracing Neurodivergence, Healing and Self-Discovery.
Did you come up with a name?
I mainly came up with the name. A couple of words were changed around, but it was a bit of a collaboration between me and the editor.
Yeah. Okay. So what do you hope readers that are unfamiliar with neurodivergence would take away from your book?
That they're not alone, that I think that a lot of the struggles that they have in the world are actually very valid. They're very, I guess, universally experienced, and while their experience is their experience, there is some common, there's a lot of common things that we all experience that kind of can feel isolating, feel isolated from the world. And I think just hearing other people's stories sort of gives you courage to accept yourself. I think embrace it a little bit more. And I hope that they embrace that they're, it's okay to be flawed. Yeah. And that it's okay to have things that you wish you didn't have, or that you're proud of. It's okay to have all of those things. There's space for all of those things in your life, and to just embrace who they are.
If you could have a conversation with your younger self, what would you tell Niki?
That it's tough, but right now all of the things that you're experiencing are going to mean a whole lot more when you're older. And that, I guess I would probably want to remind myself how worthy I am, because that was a big thing of not feeling worthy when I was younger. So just, I think just reminding myself that you matter. Yeah.
Are you planning to write any more?
I have started on my second and third book.
Oh my goodness, wow. Congratulations.
It's on pause at the moment, which it's, I guess, the second and third book's been a little bit harder, because I think it was easier to write from pain. And when I was in a space where I just wanted to pour it all out and there were no expectations because I wasn't planning on publishing it, it was easier because it was just my heart on paper. And now I think I'm overthinking it a little bit more, so it is a bit harder, but I've got some ideas.
That's amazing. Yeah. That's awesome. So where can if anyone wants to find your book or wants to connect with you, where could they go?
I have advertised it on all my socials.
So what's your socials like? Your Instagram?
So Instagram and Facebook. Instagram, it's Niki Bonfield _counselling, and Facebook, it's Niki Bonfield Counselling and Art Therapy. Okay. And I've also got an author page, which is spineandsoul.niki. Okay. It's on my website as well. It's advertised on my website. And if you just type in Niki Bonfield Fragmented Yet Whole, a whole heap of stock lists will come up on Google. So, yeah.
So if anyone that's listening and it's looking, because of your experience, if anyone's looking to find a counsellor or psychologist, what advice would you give them, knowing what you know now?
Yeah, I think really a lived experience one, finding a counsellor that is either autistic or neurodivergent themselves is really important, because there is a huge difference, I think, in the way therapy is performed, and the space. Well, I've experienced the space is more accepting, and you know, there's a knowledge and understanding of what neurodivergence is, and that's really important.
Yeah. I wanted to thank you very much, Niki, for sharing your story. And your book launch is next week, isn't it? On a Tuesday?
On Tuesday the 15th at 7 o'clock, if anyone's interested. It's at the Sterling Library.
Yeah, so I hope that goes really well. I'm sure it will. And I know you're very excited about it. And yeah, hopefully we can read your other books, and I hope we get more neurodivergent people to support you, or anyone really, because this helps, you know, educate other people, and hopefully, you know, people can be more open to having more, you know, neurodivergent spaces, because it benefits everyone. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing your story, and congratulations on your book again.
Thank you, and thank you for having me. I've thoroughly enjoyed our conversation.
Oh, you're amazing. You've done so well. Thank you.
Thank you.